It was a regular evening in the life of Muskies until I decided to turn on the Xbox and look at some side quests that I had not done yet in the game. I decided to start a random quest named Mutual of Beauclair's Wild Kingdom. As is often the case with Witcher 3, the second that I was done with the quest, well, I knew that I had to make a video about it. Ah, gotta love Witcher 3. You never really know what you're jumping into. So today, I'm going to be talking about the White Terror. That's right, we're talking about Iocaste, who is a basilisk that we can find in the Blood and Wine expansion, and the whole story here is pretty damn interesting. The title of the video probably gave it away, but in this quest, Geralt gets to choose whether this last specimen of a subspecies of basilisk should die or not. As always, you can expect Witcher 3 to make sure that the choice won't be an easy yes or no, so I'd like to explore the arguments in favor of sparing the beast, but also the reasons why it might be a better idea to slay it. Hopefully, by the end, it will all make sense and we have a conclusion on what Geralt should do, but at the very least, I'm going to share what my personal opinion on the matter is. The first thing I want to say is that early on in the quest, there seems to be an obvious correct way to handle the situation. There's a Draconid that has killed 2 merchants. That's pretty much what a Witcher is supposed to try to prevent. With that being said, someone named Count Boris de Salvarez shows up during Geralt's investigation of the attack site and gives some pretty valuable information about the beast. The basilisk initially did not prey on humans, apparently. Its preferred food was originally roe deer, but following the destruction of nearby forest caused by humans, the population of roe deer significantly decreased. As a result, Iocaste and her brethren had to start chewing some human flesh in order to survive. It's also worth mentioning that according to Count Boris, the beast never attacks anyone outside of its territory, so unless you get too close, you should be safe. Now, who is Count Boris and why does he even care about such a dangerous monster in the first place? Well, let's listen to what he has to say.
Who exactly are you? And how'd you develop such an interest in the beast?
Count Boris, happy to be of service. As to the beast, well, this subspecies is our dynastic symbol. The de Salvareses have for centuries signed with the Regulus Platinum.
Boris is doing his best to lower the amount of travelers utilizing the road by putting multiple notices detailing that the White Terror is here and that no one should use the road. Unfortunately, he also says that if there are any losses of lives, he will compensate the families of the victims. Thankfully, humans are pretty smart and respectful, therefore they completely listened and started using different roads. As a result, the beast never killed anyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Of course, that's not true. No, instead the Cooper's Guild started purposely sending people there, knowing damn well that the compensation would be worth far more than the life of their workers and the products they were carrying. I mean, if Boris is paying more than they are losing, this is pretty much an infinite money-making method. The only cost being the life of some of their merchants and some goods. What I just described is learnt from a letter that Geralt can find on the body of one of the victims. Here's a small section of what we can read on it. The itinerary supported by the guild still goes through the lands belonging to Count de Salvarez. The board sees no reason to deviate from our traditional path. The Count has pledged to cover all eventual damage caused by the Great White Terror. So yeah, it really sounds like Boris was not only ready to compensate the families for the deaths, but also the guild itself. With all of that being said, it pretty much means that many, if not all of the victims of the beast, well, could have been avoided. The real problem here is some humans trying to benefit from Boris's wealth and generosity. As Geralt and Boris talk a little bit more, and Boris obviously keeps trying to convince the Witcher to leave the beast alone, Boris makes some claims that should the beast be slain, the balance in nature would be disturbed and who knows what the consequences would be. To that I would say that we know it's the last of its kind, so it is going to die eventually. I don't think there's a way around it. We can delay the consequences, sure, but it is going to happen regardless. Anyways, as Geralt approaches the nest of the Silver Basilisk, he hears some voices. Surprisingly, there are some Crinfrid Reavers that are already there. It's a nice touch given Geralt's history with this group, but more importantly, their presence now means that there is money involved, as the Reavers were promised money from a group of merchants from the Cooper's Guild itself to take down the beast. Conveniently for Geralt, if they succeed and he helps them, they'll share a part of the reward. Seeing that they are almost ready to act, Count Boris then makes his final attempt at changing the Witcher's mind by, among other things, offering double the guild's reward if Iocaste remains unharmed. Alright, it's decision time. I'll say that the Merchants Guild leaders are pretty damn evil for still sending people to their death on purpose. I will also say that Iocaste is pretty evil as well. She's pretty much a definition of the kind of monster that Geralt is supposed to kill. It's not sentient, it attacks people without thinking, and it's incredibly dangerous. The only reason she has not killed more people over the years is because of Count Boris's dedication to limiting the amount of travelers crossing the area, but what happens when he dies? Will there be someone as dedicated and ready to take care of this situation? Also, while the Cooper's Guild definitely has some bad people running things, the merchants dying to Iocaste did not necessarily deserve to die, and they certainly didn't go there willingly. Actually, like I said earlier, the Reavers were paid by some of the merchants from the same guild to kill the beast. I think that even if somehow the Merchants Guild stopped sending people this way, what's to say that there won't be something similar happening in the future with another group of people? Are we really supposed to accept all the danger that this case brings only to protect the last of an already dying breed of aggressive beasts? Well, with all the risks involved, if it wasn't clear already, my personal preference is that the White Terror should be killed. It's unfortunate. I have a sweet spot usually for Draconids. I think that they look awesome and they're some of my favorite monsters in the game, but usually there really isn't anything to excuse sparing them, and I'm afraid that this case isn't really different. Actually, I really love something that Geralt says in the scenario where he spares the beast. Let's listen to it, and to me, it almost sounds like he's very unsure about what he's just done and that caring about subspecies is not exactly something that's important.
I suspect I might even know where she's gone. I tracked her away and believe she might have found a new mate. It's an ordinary basilisk, not a silvery one. But something might come of it. Who knows? Iocaste could lay new eggs. Perhaps produce an entirely new crossbreed.
Sure hope not. Take care.
Also, in the eventuality where Geralt decides to spare the beast, we can see Iocaste flying high in the sky, still alive and unarmed, and weirdly enough, completely friendly. Earlier in the quest, it was mentioned that the beast was being lured by the strong scents that the merchants were carrying, and maybe when it's not hungry, the simple presence of a human is not enough for it to attack. Additionally, Boris even makes an extra effort to protect the population if the beast is spared by putting some guards on 2 of the roads leading to the trading post, which is the location where the merchants had been attacked. While it's a praiseworthy effort, it goes back to the same worry that I expressed earlier. What happens if and when Boris isn't there anymore to take care of this? Also, weirdly enough, there are not only 2 roads leading to the trading post, there are 3. I guess if you pick the wrong one, you're just unlucky. Now, going back to the option where Geralt decides to kill the beast, well, the fight itself is pretty similar to any other fight with a basilisk. I can't really remember if the other ones had poison, but for this one in particular, at the very least, the Golden Aureole potion is pretty handy. I'll say that it's pretty crushing to see Boris's reaction to the death of Iocaste. It's clear that he cared about her, and it does make it feel a bit bittersweet. While it's unfortunate to have to hurt his feelings in the process, I still think it's necessary.
Iocaste, my poor Iocaste, cruelly slaughtered like a common beast.
Boris can be found after near a grave that he dug for Iocaste, which once again proves that his care for the beast was genuine. Also, according to the Witcher wiki, we can observe merchants going back to the trading post after the threat has been removed. I don't know if my game is bugged or what, but it's definitely not happening in my game for some reason. Regardless, I have to say that I love to see how many repercussions there can be following our decision in the quest. This is a quest that I enjoyed particularly, and I think that while I didn't necessarily struggle to make my choice personally, it's a pretty unique scenario, and I really like what CDPR did here. I just had to talk about it. Let me know in the comments, do you think that Iocaste should die, or is it better if she's spared? Please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon in the next one. Bye bye!